The Lakers got gifted a bright future with this trade, but the roster right now has a bunch of holes. And with the future of LeBron in question, if I'm the Lakers, I'm doing all I can to capitalize on Luka and LeBron right now. I'm so fascinated to see how they work together because both are so similar. Both are ball-dominant players, and of course, both like to take it easy on the defensive end of the floor at times. I think it goes without being said there will definitely be a learning curve in terms of playing next to each other. It will probably take some time to develop that natural chemistry where they don't have to think and they just play free. I mean, you saw Luka and Kyrie struggle early on when they first formed their duo. They even missed the playoffs their first half season together. And the thing is, I feel like we low-key have been witnessing a Walmart version of Luka next to LeBron over the season, aka Austin Reeves. He low-key plays a lot like Luka. It's just that he's much worse and not a top 5 player in the world. So ultimately, I believe they will get it figured out. And I think it's simple on the offensive end. You supply those two with shooting and a lob threat, you will have arguably one of the best offenses in the league. Also, just read this tweet. JJ has really unlocked a different version of Austin Reeves. Now I say, imagine what he's going to do with Luka. But my goodness, they need a center. The current big man rotation is Jackson Hayes, Christian Coloco, and then there's Christian Wood, who I don't even know if he exists anymore. Now, they do have Finney-Smith and Vanderbilt, who are both solid small ball options at the 5 position, but those are for spot minutes. Clearly adding a rim protector and lob threat for Luka is the next move. Remember, a big reason for the Mavs turnaround post-trade deadline last year was because the Mavs had multiple lob threats on the court at all times, like Derrick Jones Jr., PJ Washington, Derek Lively, and of course, Daniel Gafford. That's an absolutely must-need part to building around Luka. For them, they need to acquire Walker Kessler or Robert Williams. It seems like those are the most likely trade targets. And if I were the Lakers, I would ultimately prefer Walker Kessler. Because first off, he's on a cheap contract, so it's very easy to match. You don't have to give up a buttload of players. Also, he's way more trustable health-wise compared to Robert Williams, and I think that's important, especially for this season. Now, most definitely, you probably got to give up a first-round pick. Along with that, maybe even a second-round pick, because he's averaging 10.9 points, 11.4 rebounds, 4.4 offensive rebounds, resulting in 4.2 second-chance points per game. And then the icing on the cake, 2.3 blocks per game. One of the best rim protectors right now in the NBA while shooting 72% from the field. He would fit in like a glove next to Luka and would be a perfect long-term solution at the center position, considering he's only 23 years old. Now, my next question is, does this make Austin Reeves expendable, or does he move to the bench? Because the trio of Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron James, my goodness, offensively, they should be able to do some things, but they're not going to be getting it done defensively. And also, all of them thrive with the rock in their hands, so offense also might be inconsistent. And once again, that's why getting a rim protector is so important, because that's the only way that trio has a chance at consistently working defensively and producing. I think the Lakers need a defensive-minded player next to Luka and LeBron. Do they eventually just start Gabe Vincent? Keep in mind, Gabe Vincent has been playing a lot better recently, and he's been getting a ton of minutes off the bench, and he has a ton of playoff experience. Losing Max Christie and adding Luka just made Gabe Vincent much more valuable to this team. And the same goes for a guy like Cam Reddish, because he's really been a defensive-minded piece for the Lakers when he has gotten minutes. But then I remembered a big-time seller at the deadline is going to be the Toronto Raptors. It's reported the Raptors are open to trading Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, Davion Mitchell, and Chris Boucher for second-round picks. I see a guy like Davion Mitchell fitting perfectly on this roster. Per Basketball Index, top 10 perimeter isolation defense. Number 1, Dyson Daniels. 2, Bilal Coulibaly. 3, Lou Dort, and then 4, you got Davion Mitchell. With him on the court, the Raptors have 114.2 defensive rating, and when he's off, it raises to 118.6 defensive rating. And it turns out in 24.7 minutes per game, he's shooting 35.7% from 3 on 2.7 attempts per game, while also giving you 4.6 assists per game. He's a solid connector offensively, and of course, he's bringing that defense. Now, I think getting both Walker Kessler and Davion Mitchell seems unlikely due to the Lakers' pick situation. They only have 2 tradable picks, 2031 first-round pick and this year's second-round pick after the Luka trade. Supposedly, the Jazz want multiple picks, so if they can't get that Walker Kessler deal done, what they could do is take a risk on Robert Williams and just bank on him being healthy. The first trade is Maxey and a second for Davion and Garrett Temple. Unfortunately, that means you must put that last tradable first into the Blazers' Robert Williams deal, but they can definitely make it lottery protected. Also, giving up Gabe Vincent and Christian Wood. That leaves you with a great roster of Davion Mitchell, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Robert Williams. Then you got Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, and Jackson Hayes. But overall, those are the types of players I'm looking for if I'm Rob Pelinka after trading for Luka. I'm trying to keep Rui Hachimura. I'm trying to keep Austin Reeves. I'm trying to keep as much depth as possible while adding some rim protection and defense on the perimeter.